I'm Roman Yossi of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Matt Duchesne of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Justus Aros of the Nashville Predators.
I'm Ryan Johansson of the Nashville Predators.
You're listening to the Renegades of Puck
with Crazy Charlie.
Welcome to the Bunker. Welcome to the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. And before we get started on the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, let me direct you to our home website, renegadesofpuck.com. Once you go to renegadesofpuck.com, you'll learn everything you need to know about the show. And once you're getting educated about the show, you can click on that merchandise tab. That's going to take you straight to our classic logo, TR Pride logo tees, all of our different special event t-shirts, and so much more. All the gimmicks you've come to know and love and expect from the Renegades of Puck are still available on our online store. Socks, throw pillows, wall art, and yes, even bed sets. You can outfit your entire person or your entire home with Renegades of Puck merchandise, and we sure would appreciate if you would go ahead and do so. After all, we've sold out so that you can buy-in. Social media is of critical importance to this independent hockey operation. So listen up, Renegades. Here's how you can help support the show. Go to Facebook, go to Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. Give us a like, follow, a subscription, and do all the things you do on social media to help us out. Don't forget YouTube. Thank you so much to all of our subscribers and all of our viewers of Renegades of Puck TV. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you. So again, you can go to YouTube and subscribe to the Renegades of Puck YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on that notification button. You can also check out the audio podcast, and more Renegades than ever before are using that avenue and those venues to support the show. So thank you so much. Stick taps, love, and respect. Just search Renegades of Puck in your preferred platform, or check out a couple of these examples: Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon. We are on so many other platforms. Thank you to the full press NHL network. We have been added to more platforms than ever before and now have surpassed 2.2 million replays, downloads, and independent listens for the year 2023. So we are so incredibly proud of what we are accomplishing here from the bunker with the Renegades of Puck. Venmo, that's how you can become a financial donor or sponsor of the show right here. Just search Renegades of Puck or scan the QR code that is currently on your screen. Thanks to generous Renegades just like you watching and listening right now, we've been able to make some significant upgrades here to the bunker, all of our different equipment, and just talk to an engineer yesterday. We are going to be getting our network upgraded. We're going to be doing some things behind the scenes when it comes to the computer system to make things more efficient and even better than it has been before. So thank you again. Every dollar goes a long way to helping this independent hockey operation. So again, stick taps, love, and respect. And I sure do appreciate each and every one of you for the support that we have been given. Now listen, I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. It's time for operation number 757. That's right, show number 757. And at this moment in hockey history, the Milwaukee Admirals have advanced to the Central Division Finals of the Calder Cup playoffs and will now face off against the Texas Stars. After securing the series victory on home ice 2-1 last evening over the Manitoba Moose, the Milwaukee Admirals win the series for the second year in a row in 5 games over Manitoba to advance to the Central Division Finals. Last year, of course, it was against the Chicago Wolves. This year, it will be against the Iowa Stars. So let's recap how we got here, talk about the entire series, and then we'll go back and recap each and individual play of Game 5, as pivotal as it was for the Milwaukee Admirals. The game and the series started on Friday of April the 28th. It was Milwaukee with the blowout victory 6-2 over Manitoba, taking a 1-0 lead in Manitoba. It was 3-0 within a matter of minutes into the first period, and it was frankly a laugher from start to finish. No problem for the Admirals in that one. But we go to Game 2 on April the 30th, and it would be the Manitoba Moose striking back to even the series with a 3-2 overtime victory. It would be on May the 5th when the series would shift to Milwaukee. The score, though, would remain the same as the previous games. Manitoba would score another 3-2 overtime victory over the Admirals and also take a 2-1 series lead. With their backs against the wall on Friday night, the Milwaukee Admirals came out and they used the word respond a lot leading up to that game, and that's exactly what they did. As the offense was able to combine for more goals than the previous 2 games, 5 goals, and they were able to beat Manitoba 5-3, evening the series series at 2 apiece. Less than 24 hours later, Game 5 would be held in Milwaukee, and it would be the Admirals securing a 2-1 victory and winning the series 3-2. Last year, defeating Manitoba in this round 3-2, and it was also by a score of 2-1 in Game 5. So many similarities between these two Central Division rivals, meeting 30 total times in the last 2 years combined with regular season and playoff matchups. Just simply incredible. Now, I do have an update on the rest of the Calder Cup playoffs. We do have the next round completely set, so let me update the bracket for you and tell you who has advanced, and then we'll talk about game by game and individual statistics and everything for the Milwaukee Admirals. We will break it down. Brian Baston also going to be in the trenches here coming up. So you already know the Central Division finals are, of course, going to be the Texas Stars versus the Milwaukee Admirals. The Pacific Division final is going to be Calgary versus Coachella over on the eastern side of the bracket. Hershey versus Hartford is going to be the Atlantic Division final, and Toronto versus Rochester. Rochester winning in Game 5 as well. Coachella also winning in a 5th game. Only one sweep in the entirety of this round. It was Texas over Rockford, and Texas has been sitting back waiting for the winner of the Admirals and the Moose series for quite some time. So that has you all set up in the divisional finals series starting later this week. We'll have full previews of that round and, of course, everything that's going to happen between Milwaukee and the Texas Stars coming up on the next episode. For now, we're going to focus on Game 5 and looking back at the series against the Moose. Now, when it comes to Game 5, let's sit down and let's spend some time talking about it. At the end of the series, the Manitoba Moose, with their backs against the wall, forcing a Game 5 on home ice. They worked all season long, finished in second place, finished 5 points ahead of Manitoba. That's why they got to host Game 5 and have home ice advantage. And we're going to see how that's going to work out for the Milwaukee Admirals in the Rebirth Sports full game recap. It's coming up next, right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.
It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap. We go all the way back to May the 5th of the year 2023 when the Milwaukee Admirals were hosting the Manitoba Moose in Game 5. Carl Taylor deploys his forward groupings in the following way: Schneider, Jankowski, and Evangelista; Sherwood, Sanford, and Tomasino; Rushev, Huntington, and Kemmel; Angelo, McCarron, and Afanaseyev. Your defensive pairings are Gross and Delgaiso, McEwen and Stastny, Thompson and Willsby, and of course Yaroslav Askarov gets the start in net. We are just 23 seconds into Game 5. Winner take all. Move on to the next round. And Yaroslav Skarov's coming up with the first save of the game. It's going to be on Malott. Again, the first shot on goal of the game. But at 1:49 of the first period, Salmonen comes up with his first touch of the game. It's the first shot for Milwaukee. It was a shot by Delgaiso. 2:52 of the first period. Salmonen comes up with a save on Tomasino off of the rush. At 3:47 of the first period, McCarron and Harkins are off to the box. 2 minutes each. That would lead to a 4-on-4 scenario. At 4:47 of the first period, Salmon would come with a save on Sherwood from the slot. 7:56 of the first period, Askarov would come up with the save on Chisholm through some heavy traffic out there. 9:43 of the first, Askarov comes with another save on Toninato. 14:07 of the first period, Salmonen comes up with a save on Schneider. At 18:32 of the first period, it's Toninato off to the box. 2 minutes for slashing on McCarron. McCarron was on the partial breakaway, and Toninato slashes him from behind. So on the power play for the Admirals, Salmonen comes up with a save on Kemmel, then comes up with another big save on Evangelista with Sherwood's follow-up. Salmonen then, right for the end of the period, comes up with a save on Afanasiev, and we hit the intermission. There'll be a carryover of 32 seconds on the power play, and the Milwaukee Admirals outshoot the Manitoba Moose in the first period, 12-8. Not the most high-event hockey you're ever going to see, but the Admirals certainly certainly playing with a little bit of an edge in this game and seem to be controlling the game at this point. We go over to the second period in the clean sheet, and we hit that 32-second carryover, and that's where we find Saunier coming up with a save on Sherwood, so the Milwaukee Admirals able to pile up quite a bit of shots on goal during that power play opportunity. 19 seconds into the second period, it is Saunier coming up with a save on Sherwood. 147 into the second period, Saunier coming up with a save on Kemmel at 4:11 of the second period. Saunier comes up with a save on Del Gaizo. Rebound trickles just wide of the post. 5:35. Saunier continues the heavy work with a save on Huntington's sharp angle shot along the goal line at 11:05. Skaroff is checking into the period with a save on Harkins. So far, Milwaukee has limited Manitoba to virtually no offensive zone time through the first half of this period. 11:24 of the second period. It's going to be Jankowski breaking through on the scoreboard for the first time today, and it's going to be the Milwaukee Admirals taking a 1-0 lead over the Manitoba Moose on Jankowski's first. It was a partial breakaway with harassment from behind and under duress. He hits the 5-hole for the finish. Milwaukee with 10 shots on goal already in the second period, and now a 1-0 lead in Game 5. Big crowd going wild at this point. 13 minutes into the second period, Skaroff comes up with a save on Kavake. 13-10, Gross is off the box. 2 minutes for cross-checking, but then Skaroff, trying to clear the puck himself, shoots it into the crowd, picks up another penalty. 2 minutes for delay of game. 5-on-3, but only for 16 seconds off the face-off when the Admirals able to get an immediate clear, and the PK from there would go on to be absolutely outstanding. When it got to the 5-on-4 situation, it would be the Admirals generating better shorthanded offensive opportunities than the Moose would be able to generate on the power play itself. So a great overall PK, as it has been for much of the series for the Admirals. We go to 19 of the second period. Skaroff comes up with a save on Malott with the kick out at 19:48. Saunier comes up with a save on McEwen. The Admirals generate just a little bit of pressure as we hit the buzzer in the second period. Admirals with 25 shots in this game now, and the Manitoba Moose have 15 shots. So the Admirals had 12 in the first period, 13 in the second period, and picked up the only goal in the game to this point, and we're generating some good solid pressure. We are 155 into the final 20 minutes of regulation in this series, and it's Saunier coming up with a save on Evangelista's long shot at 2:59. Wilsby is off to the box. 2 minutes for high sticking for Milwaukee, putting them shorthanded, but it would be another outstanding PK, and get this, they would generate more shorthanded scoring chances and look, frankly, very comfortable shorthanded in such a pivotal and important time. 5:18 of the third period. Skaroff comes up with a save on Chisholm. This save was not easy. Body going one way, puck going the other way. Skaroff knows how to get the job done. When it comes to world-class athleticism, he was putting it on display in this particular situation. We come up with a series right here. At 7:57, Saunier comes up with a save on Gross at the 13-minute mark of the third period. Angelo is off the box. 2 minutes for tripping. Teams were just kind of skating back and forth between the dots up to this point. Then Angelo gets caught reaching for the trip. 0 shots on goal given up by the Milwaukee Admirals. Another outstanding penalty kill in this game. This unit is really helping the Milwaukee Admirals out. We hit the empty net scenario with 3:37 to go in the game. At 16:53 of the third, Skaroff comes up with a save on Malott at 18:03 with the extra attacker on. Harkins' fourth goal of the series ties the game up at 1 apiece. The Manitoba Moose finally break through in the final 2 minutes of the game. It was a wrist shot, plenty of traffic for the 6-on-5 goal. I don't know if Skaroff ever saw this puck coming through, and Harkins has certainly been a difficult one to handle throughout the entire series. So we've got a 1-1 hockey game with under 2 minutes to go in regulation. At 18:28 of the third period, Saunier comes up with a save on Sherwood plus the follow-up. At 19:34 of the third period, it's going to be Snastny picking up his first goal of the series, giving Milwaukee a 2-1 lead. It comes on a 2-on-1 with Sanford. There was a collision by two Moose players in the neutral zone, allowing for the 2-on-1 to be sprung clean on into the net. Sanford with the sweet setup to Stastny. Stastny finishes it off, and the Milwaukee Admirals take a 2-1 lead with just 26 seconds remaining in regulation. After a tense couple of seconds to finish things out, the buzzer goes, and it is the Milwaukee Admirals securing themselves a victory 2-1 in regulation, and also securing a series victory 3-2 to move on to the divisional final. So for the Milwaukee Admirals, they end up out shooting Manitoba 33-21 in this game. And more importantly than anything, they take the 2-1 victory. And how improbable, with their backs against the wall. Much was expected of this Milwaukee Admirals team, and they lived up to the expectations in Game 4 and Game 5, coming back and winning this series. Absolutely incredible. Second year in a row that the Milwaukee Admirals have beaten the Manitoba Moose in a 5-game series in 5 games. Second year in a row that the final score in Game 5 was 2-1 in favor of the Admirals. The only difference was the location. Last year, the game took place in Manitoba. This year, it took place on home ice. Handshakes, and the Admirals get out of this round, and now they will move on to take on the first place in the Central Division, Texas Stars. So the Milwaukee Admirals will not have home ice advantage in the next round moving forward. We'll preview everything about the Admirals and the Stars coming up, but we wanted to focus on Game 5 and its impact and importance, so we have a lot more discussion to go on that. We've got stats, analysis, box score, opinions, Brian Baston, the Renegades of Puck, and so much more coming up next. That was the Rebirth Sports Full Game Recap. You're listening and watching to the Renegades of Puck podcast.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm Tracy, owner-operator of Strong Style Fitness. And that's me and my training assistant, Rizzo. And we are here to bring you fitness that meets you where you are by offering circuit classes, bar-inspired classes, Tabata workouts, boot camps, guided stretching, and more, all taught by a certified personal trainer, me. To learn more, go to our website, strongstylefit.com. Subscribe on YouTube at Strong Style Fitness. Follow on social media at Strong Style Fit. But most importantly, let's get you moving. It doesn't matter if it's your first workout or you've been doing it for years. Strong Style Fitness has the workout that meets you on your journey and helps you along the path to a happier, healthier life. I understand where you've been, what you were going through, and where you were going, and I want to take you there. We'll see you on the mat. Mwah.
Yaroslav Askarov in this series ends up winning 3 games, losing to a 9.15 save percentage, 2.35 goals against average on the regular season. His regular season save percentage was 9.11, so up in the save percentage. Goals against average was 2.69 during the regular season, 2.35 over the 5-game series against the Moose. And yes, there were some moments in the 12 goals against that you really wish wouldn't have happened, but a young player, let's not forget a rookie goaltender, especially as he is still developing, still has lessons to learn, and giving up a goal from the red line, coming out too far on a breakaway. These are things that he can continue to grow, learn, and adjust on as he moves on now to the next round of the playoffs. In Game 5, 20 out of 21, 2 nights in a row, back-to-back, 2 games less than 24 hours. That is not a usual circumstance for many goaltenders. Both goaltenders in this series started Game 4 and Game 5, so it was the same on each end of the ice. Askarov goes 20 out of 21. The team in front of him kept things light and kept things cleared for the most part, picks up the victory, of course, for the series. 129 saves on 141 shots against, 12 goals against, and again, a 9.15 save percentage, up from the regular season, and his goals against was down from the regular season, and it was a strong close to the series. The only goal given up in this game was a 6-on-5 with a ton of traffic in front of the net. I thought Askarov played really good hockey in this game, and I thought overall he played very good in the series. Again, there are a couple of moments that I will go back and I will highlight when we talk about the series recap, but for the most part, not only did he secure the victory, he came up with some really big saves, some timely saves, and he ends up winning this series in the 5th game. Again, a great job to close the series for the rookie netminder for the Milwaukee Admirals, Yaroslav Askarov. Everybody has such high expectations for him moving ahead, not only in this playoff run, but in the future of his career. Great to see him securing the series victory for his squad. Let's talk about some of the other players in this game. We got to talk about Stastny to start. His first goal of the series. We thought initially he had been credited with the own goal, the empty net goal on the delayed penalty call in Game 4, but on the official score sheet, that ended up being switched later. So now Stastny gets his first goal of the series. And you know what? I bet he'd much rather have it this way, because what an impressive moment. It was the game-winning goal, of course, with 26 seconds left in regulation, and just a most unlikely finish. Think about some of the improbable moments that happened in the back end of this series to benefit the Milwaukee Admirals. two players for the Manitoba Moose running into each other and colliding in the neutral zone, losing possession of the puck with 30 seconds to go, giving up a 2-on-1 for the Milwaukee Admirals. It's improbable, it's unlikely, and it's the kind of crazy things that just sometimes happen when it comes to the playoffs. The Moose will certainly be kicking themselves for a long time for this, but Stastny's first goal of the series comes the end of a 2-on-1 after two Moose players collide in the neutral zone, allowing the Admirals just to run free and pick up the series-winning goal. So not just a game-winning goal, but a series-winning goal for Stastny, and it's just awesome to see. Jankowski also had a goal in this game. It's his first goal of the series. Came on a partial breakaway, and you know what? You got to give credit here. It was a smooth finish for the amount of duress he was under. Being hacked, whacked, hooked, and pulled from behind, I call that duress for sure. He was still able to finish right here. So great job by Jankowski. Again, being another one of those players that came back from the Nashville Predators down to help the Milwaukee Admirals in the playoffs. His first goal of the series couldn't come at a bigger time. He got the Admirals on the board first, and he kept them ahead up until about 2 minutes to go in the game. Jankowski, though, strong effort, strong game, and strong finish on that partial breakaway. We got to talk about Gross, another assist in this game. That was his 7th point of the series. He led the team, and he was strong out there the entire series. He just was a strong presence on the blue line, both offensively and defensively, noticeable in numerous situations, different situations, and frankly, I felt he represented himself incredibly well. That's why he was named the player of the series. Absolutely a tremendous effort. 7 points, again, that led the Admirals in scoring, and just strong. All 5 games strong. He was out there getting the work done and getting the job done. So got to make sure we give him some credit for being the player of the series. Sherwood, you know what? Sherwood was strong. His compete level all night long. He was a really important component to the Milwaukee Admirals and their desire to finish this game off, their willingness to win 50-50 battles all over the ice to keep the Moose out of their own offensive zone. Sherwood was just, frankly, all over the place. It's not one of those big nights where there's a lot of stats that jump out at you, but the eye test, the inner analytics, you take a look at it, all the things that he did in this game just add up to a great under-the-radar Game 5 performance, and you got to give him credit for what he was able to do out there on the ice all night long. Seemed like every shift he was doing something that helped the Milwaukee Admirals win this game. And again, another player coming back down from the Nashville Predators. He was bringing the jam. That's the way to sum it up. He just had the jam all night long, each and every shift that he was out there. And I got to tell you, I wanted to make some comments on the defense and how they tightened up in Game 4 and Game 5. When we talk about the box score and we talk about the series stats, you're going to notice how the D tightened up tremendously over the final 2 games. The shots on goal dropped dramatically over Games 4 and Game 5, giving Yaroslav Askarov and better opportunity, the Milwaukee Admirals better opportunities to win that game. The D tightened up and they controlled their own zone. They protected the house, especially in Game 5, only giving up 21 shots against in the number of power plays, including a short 5-on-3 against. The Admirals were simply not going to give up anything within their own blue line, and I felt that they needed to be noted for that. The shots on goal, Games 4 and 5, were down dramatically. I'm just going to go ahead and give you that since we're talking about it. Game 1, 37. Game 2, 34. Game 3, 30 for Manitoba. We go into Game 4, 19 shots, and Game 5, 21 shots. So it ended up being 141 shots on goal for the series for the Manitoba Moose, and the Admirals ended up outshooting them by 2 with 143, and the Admirals were being outshot after 3 games by 20 shots on goal. So you see how that one statistic flipped, the score and the results flipped, and it gave the Admirals a much better opportunity to win Game 4 and especially Game 5. It was almost shades of the left wing lock. I don't want to bring that conversation back up. it's very long conversation about that very concept last night and what it did to the NHL many, many years ago. But that's where we're going to go ahead and hold off on that. So that's going to do it for the analysis portion. Incredible job in Game 5. I noted several players, several different performances and efforts, but it comes down to goaltending and defense, especially in a pivotal game like this. And Yaroslav Skarov and the defense in front of him was top-notch, stood up, and they got the job done. Coming back from 2 games to 1 down, winning the series 3-2, and moving on. They will have a formidable opponent in the Texas Stars, who finished in the regular season 3 points ahead of the Milwaukee Admirals to win the Central Division regular season title. All right, we are going to be back after this quick break. We've got Brian Baston, we've got the box score, and we've got a whole lot more coming up right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast. I'm Crazy Charlie Saunier, host and captain of the award-winning Renegades of Puck podcast, and I'm pausing the show for just a moment to talk to you about Brandy over at Stripe Digital Solutions. Stripe Digital Solutions has helped me build a media empire as an independent entity here at the Renegades of Puck. Whether it's graphic design, as you can see on the wall behind me, creating the logo for the show, our t-shirt designs right here, our special event posters. When it comes to graphic design, the Renegades of Puck have been able to compete with any other operation on the planet, no matter what level of business they are. You will also be able to compete. My website looks as good as anyone's on the planet and is updated perfectly. Brandy does an incredible job when it comes to all of the different facets of digital management. Trust me. With the decentralization of social media as we are currently undergoing, it is more critical than ever to have a strong website, and Brandy over at Stripe Digital Solutions is going to help you create that. Brandy has gone above and beyond at every opportunity to help me when it comes to special event planning, building graphics, and anything else that the Renegades of Puck operations needed. You see this coffee mug right here? Created by Stripe Digital Solutions. The pins, the set, everything around you, assisted, created, or made by Stripe Digital Solutions. I could not be a successful podcast owner and operator today if it wasn't for the assistance of Stripe Digital Solutions. Brandy, stick taps, love, and respect. Stripe Digital Solutions has made the Renegades of Puck one of the most successful hockey podcasts on the entire full press NHL network. When it comes to the box score, let's talk about Game 5, then let's talk about a couple of series-wide numbers. Spencer Stastny with a goal in this game, the game-winning and series-winning goal. Mark Jankowski also with a goal in this game, came on the breakaway. We had 3 assists awarded in this game. Igor Afanaseyev picked up an assist. Jordan Gross picked up another assist, his 7th point of the series, and Zach Sanford also picking up an assist. In the shots on goal category, Kiefer Sherwood all over the ice all night long and generated 4 shots on net for the Milwaukee Admirals. Luke Evangelista also with 4 shots on net. 3 shots on goal by Jordan Gross, Mark Del Gaizo, and also Joachim Kemmel, 3 shots on goal in this game. Kemmel, really nice 3 games in the series. Looking forward to him continuing to be in the lineup. We'll talk more about him in the series preview coming up when we get Rachel Kay back on the show and we have Brian and everybody in full preview mode for the Texas Stars series. So other stats I'd like to talk about, Yaroslav Askarov went 20 out of 21 in this game. In the series, 129 of 141, 12 goals against, a .915 save percentage, and a 2.35 goals against average. Also, when it comes to the other stats, shots on goal, 143 to 141 for the entirety of the 5-game series. The Milwaukee Admirals came back from a big deficit to overtake the Manitoba Moose in games played, score, and also in shots on goal by the end of the series. Now, special teams was a critical and pivotal thing about this series. When the Admirals' power play was clicking and their penalty kill wasn't giving up anything in the first couple of games, of course, the Admirals were more likely to win. As we got here to the back half of the series, Manitoba evened things out on the special teams, but in Game 5, it would be the Milwaukee Admirals returning to form, 0 for 1 on the power play, only 1 opportunity, but the Manitoba Moose would be shut down 4 times, including a brief 5-on-3 power play, and that would definitely be the difference maker in this game. For the series, the Milwaukee Admirals went 5 of 16 on the power play, picking up 3 of those goals in the first 2 games of the series, and it was the Manitoba Moose going 3 out of 20, and one of those power play goals being an overtime game winner, which tipped the series ever so briefly in the favor of the Manitoba Moose. Now, shots on goal, power play taken care of. Let's talk about the stats for the Milwaukee Admirals at the end of the series. It was Gross that led the team in scoring 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points. Sherwood, second on the team in scoring 2 goals and 4 assists for 6 points. Evangelista, 2 and 3 for 5. Sanford, 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Del Gaizo, 1 goal, 2 assists for 3 points. Jankowski had 3 points. Afanasiev also had 3 points. Joachim Kemmel, 3 games played, a goal, assist, 2 points overall. Yaroslav Askarov started and completed all 5 games of the series, a record of 3-2, a save percentage of .915, a 2.35 goals against average. And now we've got ourselves all set up for the next round. We are down to the Elite 8 of the Calder Cup playoff bracket. The Atlantic Division Final is going to be Hershey versus Hartford. The North Division Finals is going to be Toronto versus Rochester. The Pacific Division Final is going to be Calgary versus Coachella. And, of course, the Central Division Final, which we will be covering play-by-play, game-by-game right here from the bunker, is going to be the Texas Stars versus the Milwaukee Admirals. So that's got you all set up. That's got the box score taken care of. That's got all of the numbers taken care of. And, oh, yeah, that means it's time for Brian Baston. He's got the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know from the Renegade Analytics Desk. And on theforecheck.com, you can check them out right now on Renegades of Puck TV. Brian, time to bring the jam.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Your Milwaukee Admirals took one hell of a hockey game in Game 5 tonight in a 2-1 win after giving up the game-tying goal at 6-on-5 with just under 2 minutes left before an unfortunate but hilarious to me mistake by 2 Manitoba Moose players colliding, which caused a turnover and the game-winning goal from Spencer Stastny with just 27 seconds left. This series obviously was a rough one for the Milwaukee Admirals, as they went from a 1-0 series lead to finding themselves down 2-1, facing elimination games twice in Game 4 and Game 5. But Yaroslav Askarov and company were able to stand tall and win Games 4 and 5 at home to advance to the Central Division Finals starting next Friday in Milwaukee as they face the Texas Stars for a chance to play in the Western Conference Finals, where they will face off against either Calgary or Coachella Valley. And since I wasn't available for the last game and we're at the end of the series, tonight I'm going to give you 2 big stats for the Admirals, so let's jump on in. First, let's talk about a team statistic. The first big stat for your Milwaukee Admirals is about the success of the special teams. The Admirals went 38% on the power play in this series, getting goals on 6 of 16 attempts in 5 games. In fact, tonight's Game 5 was the only game of the series that the Admirals did not have a power play goal, but that might have been just because they only got 1 shot at it. But that's not all. The Admirals were on the penalty kill 20 times in this series, an average of 4 times per game, and only gave up 2 goals the entire time, a penalty kill percentage of 90%. In fact, both goals they gave up shorthanded were in Game 4. They shut out the Moose shorthanded in every other game. They killed all 14 of 14 penalties the rest of the series. And I did say after Game 1 that one of the Admirals' biggest strengths was to get through the series would be its play on special teams, and sure enough, that proved to be the difference. And if you don't believe me, well, the Admirals scored 17 goals in the series to Manitoba's 12. Without Milwaukee's 6 power play goals, well, Milwaukee would have the advantage. And as for your second stat of the night, let's talk about the most outstanding player of this series. Now, I would love to give that to Yaroslav Askarov, who went 3-2 in the series, saving 129 of 141 shots against for a 91.5 save percentage, but alas, he wasn't quite the best player for Milwaukee. A close runner-up was a personal favorite of mine, Kiefer Sherwood, who ended the series with 2 goals, 1 on the power play, and 6 points. But he was second to another player that you might not expect. My player of the series and the subject of our second big stat of the evening is defenseman Jordan Gross. Now, let's get some background. Jordan Gross played 53 games with the Admirals this regular season and ended the regular season tied for 4th on the team with 38 points and 2nd on the team with 28 assists. Gross also had 15 games for Nashville this season, picking up 3 goals, one of which was on the power play, of course. But in this series against the Moose, Jordan Gross really had his chance to shine. The defenseman led the Admirals in the majority of statistics in the 5-game series. He was tied with Sherwood, Evangelista, and Zach Sanford with 2 goals apiece, but stands alone at the top with 5 assists, 7 points, and 5 primary points, which are goals and primary assists. He tied with Sherwood with a team-high 17 shots, shooting 11.8% on the series, and both he and Sherwood had a goal and 2 assists on the power play. And yes, even though I absolutely hate this statistic, Jordan Gross did lead all Admirals in plus-minus with a +4. Gross was just one of 3 Admirals to have points in 4 of the 5 games of this series, picking up both goals in Game 1 and assists in every game except for Game 3. Game 1 for Gross was also the only game for any Admiral player where they had multiple goals, as well as a 3-point game where he picked up 2 goals and an assist. In fact, he and Kiefer Sherwood were the only players for the Admirals with more than one multiple-point game. Now, the Admirals do have plenty of time to regroup. They've got 5 full days of rest before the Texas Stars arrive in Milwaukee for Games 1 and 2 of the 5-game Central Division Finals. We saw this series how effective the Admirals' special teams were. They backed up their AHL leading 24.6% power play from the regular season and even improved on the regular season's third best penalty kill that had a 84.3% with a 90% rate in this round of the playoffs. With the decided advantage on special teams against Texas, where Texas were 20th in the regular season in power play and 5th in penalty kill, Milwaukee can also rely on its top players to not only put numbers on the score sheet, but do it on a consistent basis. Jordan Gross, Kiefer Sherwood, and Luke Evangelista combined for 6 goals, 18 points, and 8 power play points, and at least one of the 3 had a point in every game of this series. But like I said before, unfortunately, we've got some time to wait. The players may enjoy the 6 days rest, but as for us fans, especially Nashville fans who are starved for playoff hockey, we do have to wait until Friday evening, so I have no doubt that head coach Carl Taylor will be working on the weak spots in Milwaukee's games ahead of facing the regular season Central Division champs in the Texas Stars. The Stars finished the season just 3 points ahead of the Admirals, but Milwaukee did go 4-3-1 against Texas in 8 regular season matchups. And as we saw from this series, don't expect the Admirals to be able to waltz easily through any round of these Calder Cup playoffs, but when this team is clicking, I wouldn't count them out against anybody. And that's tonight's One Big Stat. Charlie?
Thanks so much, Brian. He's got the charts you need to see and the numbers you need to know. He's the one and only Brian Baston from OnTheForecheck.com. So thankful to have Brian in the trenches talking Milwaukee Admirals hockey here during the Calder Cup playoff run. Now listen, to close this show out, just a couple of things I want to talk about. 30 times, 30 games, the Milwaukee Admirals and the Manitoba Moose have played each other 30 times in the last 2 years. 20 regular season matchups and now 10 playoff matchups. The Milwaukee Admirals have managed to win both best of 5 series in Game 5 by a score of 2-1. Quite unbelievable. 6-4 in the 10 playoff games, and frankly, that's the only ones that matter. But these two teams could not be more of division rivals. I was quite surprised the temperature remained as low as it did. The games were, for the most part, very close outside of Game 1, and there wasn't a lot of time for shenanigans, but I was really surprised that the teams maintained their composure considering just how many times they have had to face off against each other and the amount of high stakes this year, finishing 2nd and 3rd in the division, respectively, playing again in a best of 5 that went all the way to 5. Another year where the team comes back and they force a Game 5. It was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable how this has all played out. I cannot believe these two teams have played each other 30 times over the course of 2 seasons. I feel like I know as much about the Manitoba Moose as I do about any other team around the AHL and the NHL. And it's been a great series to watch. I'm happy the Admirals are moving on because that allows us to continue covering the Admirals playoff run in the Calder Cup playoffs. So next up is going to be the Texas Stars best of 5. Doesn't start till Friday, so the Admirals, even though they really not having as much time off as Texas sweeping Rockford in the previous round, the Admirals will get a chance to rest, recover, and any minor injuries or bruises that occurred during the 5-game series against Manitoba will have enough time to heal up. That's going to bring us back into the bunker, and we will have a full series preview. We'll spend a few minutes recapping the entirety of the series that just ended, and then we will do a full episode. We'll have Rachel Kay and Brian Baston and probably some other analysts in the trenches to preview what's going to go on with the Texas Stars best of 5 series series coming up in the Central Division Final Series. Going to be incredible. Best of 5. Milwaukee Admirals are moving on. Second year in a row, beating the Manitoba Moose in Game 5. Carl Taylor, the first coach of the Admirals to go back-to-back years winning a playoff series in quite a significant amount of time. And that's why all of you know we're tracking Carl Taylor so closely, because we've made the case for Carl to be the next head coach of the Nashville Predators. But that's for another day, another time. Right now, he's in the middle of trying to get his team all the way to the Calder Cup final and win the Calder Cup. Halfway there, division final up next. That's going to do it for this episode. Can't wait to get back in the bunker and talk about the next round upcoming. Game 5 was phenomenal. The back-to-back Game 4, Game 5 setup scenario less than 24 hours apart. The Admirals coming back and winning both of those games to win the series. A lot of fun, a lot of high hockey drama, high hockey emotion, and probably going to have a crash coming up here in just a little bit. So we'll get this episode out, and then we've got some other work to do. We're back to USPHL action. We've got development camp for the Spartans. We'll report on that on the next episode as well. Can't wait to be back in the trenches with each and every one of you Renegades. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for your time. And most importantly, thank you. I am your host and Captain Crazy Charlie Saunier. Stick taps, love, and respect.